Welcome to CPG Vibes. No scripts,
just chat.
I'm Alex Baer.
And I'm Wade Yenny.
Each episode is recorded live, and we talk all things food and beverage, and so much more.
Feel our vibe and search for CPG Vibes on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and make sure to give us a 5-star review.
If you'd like to sponsor our show with your product or service, email us at cpgvibes100@gmail.com.
Now, let's vibe.
All right, welcome to episode 139 of CPG Vibes. Hope everyone is doing well. This is our momentous and ongoing special edition series, Outside the Tank, Volume 3. So we've made it this far where we're having a third one. That means that people must love it. Wade, it's been a busy week, I know. How's it going?
It's been a busy week, Alex. And, today started off really great. I had a coffee with some good friends, Hugh Curtis and Andy Kurtz from North Carolina area. I posted about that earlier. That was great to see both of them in person, which is always good. And I'm also sipping on this lovely beverage. I don't know if you got yours yet. But
what is that?
This is from our buddy Gavin.
So I'm the one that has been hung out to dry.
Well, hey, guess what? It happens.
Tables have turned.
This is fantastic. I know this isn't stuff we love, and I've got something for that later. But this is Be Amazing. It's their new product. It's greens. It has a blend of 10 fruits and vegetables inside of it. It's less than a gram of sugar, 4 grams of prebiotic fiber. And I'm drinking the peach mango, and it's delicious. Gavin, thank you. Cheers.
And thank you, Gavin, for not sending it to me yet. I'm going to give you shit until you do. But thanks for sending it to at least one of us. Is it Be Amazing? What's the website?
The website, Gavin told me this is so new that it isn't on their website yet.
Okay.
But the website, I will put up there. They have other products besides the drinks. And I'm going to put this, I'll put it in the chat, what their other website is. But so between seeing Hugh and Andy today, and I think Hugh's in the audience, if I'm not mistaken, there's the, I got the wrong link here. I'll put it up in a minute.
Okay.
I'm working on it. I'm multitasking. Yes.
Sounds good. Okay. Well, as much as you tried to one-up me this week by saying that you got something that I didn't get, I'm going to two-up you.
Oh, no.
So I got the Raja Chai Latte. This is from Northern California. It's a chai latte with oat milk brewed with black tea and whole spices, and it's fucking delicious. I'm saying that with emphatically to make you feel even more jealous. And then on top of that, I got Urban Remedies. I got the full. How many do they put in here? Is there 6 of them? Okay. Anyway, I'm not gonna.
Listen, Urban Remedy, and whatever that other. We've got problems there. We've got problems. Well, I'm going to tell you,
enemies on the board.
Yeah. How about if we're going to play this or that? How about did you get the package from Jeremy in 70s? Because I got something from him today as well.
I did
not today, earlier this week. All right. Okay.
Oh, you got it earlier this week. I got it
this week.
Last week, so I got it before you. So.
Okay. Well, I've been drinking them the past couple of days. So
but you know what? To my defense, I'm closer to their distribution center, right? So I got it before you, and that's the only reason why. It wasn't because they love me more than you. It's because I'm logistically closer. So you can't take that personally, right, Wade?
No. Well, we do have problems with Urban Remedy. And what was the first one? What was the first one?
Raja Chai Latte.
I'm done with those people.
Yeah. You're getting more aggravated as the weeks go by. Right. Maybe I shouldn't even tell you anymore when people send me stuff. I don't
Crying out loud. Well, I've got some other stuff we'll talk about later, but that's good. That's
good. There we go.
It's good to be here. They start off good. I saw Hugh and Andy. I saw an old not old, she's young, co-worker from the Fresh Market, Takeda.
Nice.
And that was great. So yeah, the day's starting off great, and we're going to end it with the workday great right here, right now with some sharks.
There we go. Right. Okay. Yeah, we're bringing up, the Sharkies. So they're the ones that faced off with the Sharks, right? There's the Sharks and the Sharkies. So these are the Sharkies. We have 3 guests that are going to be coming on in the next 5 or 10 minutes. So we're running a little behind because of our back and forth banter, but we don't know what the hell we're doing. There's no chat. There's no timing. We go 30 minutes over without even thinking about it. But here are the people that are coming on the show today. Josh Belinsky. He is with Slate Milk, co-founder of Slate Milk, which is a very fast-growing And I'm not going to even say anything. It's just a delicious product. I'll let him explain it. And we have Daniel Zakowski. Again, I'm going to let him explain it. It's Ready Set Food, which is baby food, allergen friendly, from what I understand. And then we have Hank Watt. Love you, buddy. Our longtime friend. I've known him for 8-9 years at this point, and he's with Nature's Wildberry. All three of these gentlemen were on Shark Tank in different seasons. Some maybe the same season. I think Daniel Zakowski was on the same season as Genius Juice, I believe, season 11. So all good stuff. We'll bring him on in about 5 or 10 minutes. But before we do that, we have to do our ceremonious mention of our sponsors, which we highly appreciate. And so we have two main ongoing sponsors, which is My Way 3PL and we have Range Me. So first, we have My Way 3PL. I need my oxygen mask to say all this while taking my breaths. So with My Way 3PL, they're a logistics solutions provider, and they're born from seeing all the pain points CPG brands are going through with other logistics providers. They have a solid foundation of proven results and cost savings and operational enhancement. They offer a true balance of both strategy and execution. Partner with My Way 3PL to streamline your logistics and scale from small to large, and from large to even larger. I like large to larger. I think that's cooler than small to large. So go to myway3pl.com/CPG vibes for more information. They have a landing page, and you mention CPG vibes, and you can store your first pallet for free for the first month in the vast selection of distribution centers across the United States. Again, myway3pl.com/CPG vibes is posted right there in the comments. And to make sure to, again, to mention CPG vibes. The other one, this is exciting, Wade. This is exciting. I don't even think you know about this because we don't have any weekly meetings or monthly meetings or staff meetings at all about the show, right? Nothing.
No. We had to have a staff. I mean, to use the word staff, I feel like you have to have more than 2 people, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a small staff, I would
Right.
say.
Very small.
It's us.
We're bootstrapped.
Yeah, it's us two and one person in the Philippines. I mean, that means we're international, right? At this point.
Yes.
Yeah. Unofficially international. So, all right. So with our other sponsor, Range Me, I got to preclude this. They're doing a contest, okay, where you can win. And I'm looking at this here. If you go to the landing page that we're going to provide and you fill out the form, you can be entered in to win a free premium membership worth $1,399. So all you have to do is fill out the form. You're not committing to sign up for their services. You're literally just filling out the form and saying, I'm interested. You'll be entered into a drawing. And once every month and a half, they're going to pick one person that fills out that form, and you win basically a $1,400 membership for free. Okay, so make sure to go on the form and do that, which is rangeme.com/CPG vibes. Now, what is Range Me? They have over 15,000 buyers. Range Me ensures continuous exposure to retail partners from top retailers like Target, Albertsons, Whole Foods, Sprouts, Publix, Kroger, Costco, Wegmans, H-E-B, Food Lion, Giant Foods, Fresh Market, you've heard of them, Wade. Jimbo's, you've heard of them, Wade. Rouse's, you've heard of them, Wade, and many, many more. But that's not all. Range Me combined with eCRM category sessions deliver exclusive live in-person events through Joe Tarnowski, where you can meet directly with leading national and regional retail buyers for curated face-to-face meetings. Ready to elevate your brand? Go to rangeme.com/CPG vibes, and you can save 30% on their premium and pro memberships. And again, I'll say it one more time for those that just tuned in. Fill out this form. There's no obligation. You get entered into a drawing to win a $1,399 value membership for the year. No brainer.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And then we have a special sponsor this week as well, right?
We do. That's our weekly sponsor. Thank you, Wade. I thought you would never mention that. So we're just having the phony, NBC voices here. Hello, how you doing tonight on NBC? All right. So our sponsor for this week's episode is the WN Dean Advisory. And the gentleman that runs this company is Waleed Nasruddin. So thank you, Waleed, for sponsoring multiple episodes of CPG Vibes. Now, what is WN Dean Advisory? It's a very important service. He saved his clients thousands of dollars. He's been doing this for a long time. He's an operations specialist. If you're growing a CPG brand and looking to eliminate stockouts, which everyone is, Optimize your inventory. Again, everyone is, or streamline your supply chain operations, which is crucial. WN Dean Advisory is the go-to partner led by operations expert Waleed Nasruddin. WN Dean specializes in demand planning, inventory management, and S&OP. I think SOP is what he meant to say. Strategies tailored to scale your business efficiently. Whether you're struggling with forecasting or need hands-on operational support, they have the solutions to take your business to the next level. Go to WN Dean Advisory. It's W as in Waleed, N as in Nasruddin, advisory.com, or by connecting with Waleed here on LinkedIn.
And I put both those links. It's up on the screen now for his website as well as his LinkedIn profile. And he's good people. If you're not following him, I'd encourage you to do that on LinkedIn. He puts up a lot of insightful articles and just general information on supply chain and operations. Just very, very helpful and a great guy. So I'd encourage you to connect with him if you're looking for some help. Sponsorship aside, he's a good person. So encourage you to reach out to him. He's been a great support of the show, but more importantly, he's a good person. So check out Waleed if you haven't.
Definitely. And I got to say a couple things, 3 things actually, before bringing on our guests. Number one, I need to get some ready set food because I have a son who's turning 2, right? So that's the first thing. Second, I've been drinking celery juice from Costco, which tastes absolutely terrible. Ugh. That has lemon in it. But you know what will make it taste better? Nature's Wild Berry.
There you
go. And then number 3, I'm drinking the 12-ounce or a 12-ounce slim can. As much as I love Raja, and thank you for sending this, I also love Slate Milk, so I'm going to get some of that locally. So boom, covered all 3 right there.
I was going to say don't forget Slate, but then you mentioned Ready Set. I mentioned before we went live that we have an audience member, Gavin, who's expecting twins. So I'm sure he would be appreciative of that service. But more importantly, if you're tuning in for the first time or it's been a while since you tuned in, we're giving away prizes this week. We've got some great service from Waleed, who we just talked a little bit about. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, all 3 of our Shark Tank alumni are going to give something away as well. So the way you win those prizes or prize is to listen to the show, pay attention, because at some point at the end of the show, we're gonna ask a question about something we've talked about during the show. We might have already talked about it. It might have already talked about it. But pay attention, and that's how you win the prize. But we've got some good stuff coming up. And by the way, Alex, Gavin informed me that your product was delivered today, so maybe you need to check your outside, wherever it is you get packages. Gavin tells me it's there.
I did get a notification from the mail center that I did get a package. I couldn't make it over there.
You need to get it.
I was swimming in the ocean, so I need to go from the ocean to drinking that product. So I'm going to pick it up right after this episode. So very good. And we have 2 prizes, right? Just letting people know. I can't remember if you mentioned the full extent of it, but we have a free 30-minute call with Waleed Nasruddin, WN Dean Advisory, and a 12-pack of Slate drinks. That's 1 prize. Second prize, a 12-pack of Slate, right? So he's doubling down, plus 30 servings of Nature's Wild Berry, which goes great with celery juice because celery juice tastes terrible, and it'll taste a hell of a lot better with Nature's. And you're getting your nutrition too, and it tastes great. All right. So with all that said, we're going to bring on our guests now. So again, without further ado, we have we have Josh Belinsky with Slate Milk, Daniel Zakowski with Ready Set Food, and also, last but not least, Hank Watt with Nature's Wild Berry. How you guys doing?
What's going on?
What's up, fellas?
Absolutely fantastic.
Oh, it's great to be back.
Josh, you're putting. I put Genius Juice bottles up on my shelf, but your shelf puts mine completely to shame. He has for those that are not watching and they're listening. He has, how many cans are up there? Like 40, 50 of them.
Yeah, maybe something like that. I don't know if that's a good thing, because I think it's actually only as a total of 8 flavors, but it's just millions of iterations, and I think it actually plays nicely into the Shark Tank story. But it's every iteration.
Right, the evolution, including the very first one you gave the Sharks, and we want to hear the story that it was a interesting formulation and it was rushed because of the episode. But we'll hear all about that. So, for those that are just tuning in, these are Shark Tank alumni that appeared on different seasons and episodes, and to millions and millions of people. Then combined, just the 4 people here, you 3 and me, we probably aired to at least 15, 20 million people, which is really cool that's a cool fact. So we're going to go around the room and have everyone introduce themselves, your name, where you're from, which are things already mentioned, so that's going to be repetitive. But on top of that, why don't you share it's a tradition, one thing that we probably do not know about you or your company. So we'll start on the upper right corner here with Daniel. Welcome to our show.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm going to have to come up with my one thing really quickly, but it's really wonderful to be here. As you can see from my bubble above my head, I am from Ready Set Food, and we are excited to be helping parents follow food allergy prevention medical guidelines. If every parent followed food allergy prevention medical guidelines about introducing allergens to your baby early and often, there'd be about 300,000 fewer babies every year that develop severe food allergies. So there's a real opportunity, I think, not just to have a great company, but also to make a really big difference in public health and in lots of kids' lives. I started the business after my nephew developed food allergies about 7 years ago. So really excited to be here.
And one thing about you.
Oh yeah, almost got out of it. Geez. Well, it turns out I know the sound of one hand clapping, which turns out to be this.
Now, if you're in the forest and you're doing that, can other people hear it, or whatever that proverb is? Cool. And then you were on the same season as me, right? Season 11, weren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Season 11, I believe, episode 15.
Okay, we were episode 12. So good stuff.
We were season 11, 23, I think.
No way. So you're the same season as well. Wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then, next we have Hank with Nature's Wildberry. Hank, what's going on, my man? Welcome to our show.
Oh, thank you. Love being back. Love seeing everybody here. So real quick, the brand is called Nature's Wildberry. Can you see that right there? It's just a berry right there. You chew it for about 30 seconds, and like Alex said, you could have pretty nasty, earthy, disgusting things taste like they're your favorite candy. So that's how I kind of got into this. It was a 3-year journey. Now, something that no one knows about me, I had to go like way back here, but my granddad's granddad was the 1780s James Watt. So he did he was known for the steam engine. So that where we get the light bulb Watt and the energy, that was him. So
wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Loyalty.
And Hank, I see you've kind of brought your own fan club here with you. I see Curtis from Lemonicious here. Good to see you, Curtis. And we also
Lemonicious shout out.
Yeah, absolutely. Good guy. And we also have Allison. Everybody's on the Hank train right now. So Hank, welcome back.
I love Allison.
Excellent.
All right. Good stuff. And then we have that's an insane factoid that we went through so quickly, and that is so groundbreaking that we're going to mention that again somewhere in the middle or end of the episode, because that's mind-blowing, Hank. Wow. And
I was just reading with my son about James Watt. We did like the whole biography thing. There's a book, Heroes of Progress, and he has like a whole section about him. So we like watched the video. I just took a screenshot of you so I could like send it to my son. It's me. He'll be so excited.
Awesome.
Well, on
top just leave out the part where you clapped with one hand first before you.
I think that's really. I
think it's pretty impressive.
It's memorable. It's memorable.
Yeah.
Flexible wrist for sure. Very, very. Yeah. All right. So and then we have Josh. He is the co-founder of Slate Milk. Welcome.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you. So at Slate, we sell high protein milkshakes and iced coffees made with real ultra filtered milk. So it is milk from a cow, but we take the lactose out of it. And by taking the lactose out, it gets filtered through, condenses, you get more protein out of it. So all of our products right now have 20 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, 0 added. It's a way to get clean protein in your diet without having to feel like you're taking a supplement. So it's been a blast so far. And the unique thing, very kind of crazy. So my co-founder and I are both from the greater Boston area. And when we were just like chatting one time after like a year of working together, we realized that April was coming up, and we both talked about how our moms have birthdays in April. And turns out our moms were born on the same day. So like, first of all, wild that like our moms have the same birthday. But then as we got talking and kept working together, whatever, a few weeks goes by, and it turns out that in 1989, sorry, Mom, for dating you, our moms actually had their first jobs together and worked together in Boston at a hospital. But because they had different maiden names, we never put it together. So it took us a year of working together to realize that our moms actually used to work together too, which is kind of wild.
Wow. I got a follow-up question to that. When they're working at the hospital, when they were working at the hospital in 1989, did they help with the birth of Taylor Swift at that hospital?
I did not know that she was born in Boston in 1989, but that'd be hopefully that she
somewhere
was
on the East Coast. That's all I know. I don't even know where. But I think actually she was born in Tennessee. I think Nashville, actually.
Yeah.
But
What I want to know,
yeah.
what I want to know, Josh, is where's your Boston accent?
I'm a fake. I'm not actually from in the city. I'm from 30 minutes outside the city. It doesn't count.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Just checking.
We get it all the time though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no Goodwill Hunting accent on this episode. Right?
And before we get too far into this, Alex, I want to know if what Curtis is saying here is true. Was season 11 the lowest rated in Shark Tank history?
Yeah, because I was on it, you know.
I was just gonna say the exact same thing. It was also in the middle of COVID, so they were like airing a bunch on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So I think that was part of it.
Yeah, so with season 11, depending on the episode, we aired Genius Juice in January. Okay, so it was January 19th, 2020. It used to be on a Sunday, right? It was on a Sunday. It started on Friday, it went to Sunday, and then they moved it back to Friday because the ratings were going down. And so that was part of the reason why it was so low rated. If you go to Wikipedia and search Shark Tank, Shark Tank viewership through the years, it shows you each year. And he's absolutely right. Like that season 11, season 12 was 2.5 to 3 million people. But in like the earlier seasons and the seasons after where they moved it to Friday, it's at like 4, 5, 6 million people. But even though we got half the viewership, we still did pretty well here. So no harm in having 2 million people watching. So let's start out with a question. I want to direct this question to Josh, because there's a story that I really wanted you to share, and I think you shared it on 15 Minutes of Genius, my other podcast, about the Sharks' reaction to the product that you presented and the story behind that product and how it's evolved. What happened on camera, what happened that never made it to airing, revolving around the product and the formula. It's a very interesting story.
Yeah, I mean, without going too far down the rabbit hole, I don't even know what I'm allowed to talk about, but we're just going to throw it out there. Manny and I had this idea, and we were working with the formulation team on this idea to make a better for you chocolate milk. That's how the brand started. We grew up playing sports, loved chocolate milk, became lactose intolerant, could only have lactose-free chocolate milk, but it was really high in sugar. So we wanted to make a product with less sugar in it. A bunch of formulation teams told us to screw off, that there's no way, like dairy's dying, like it's not worth it. We don't want to waste our time on this. We eventually found a team that was willing to work with us. So we created some base formulas. And as we said, we kept, one foot in front of the other, started getting little points of validation along the way, had our first investor come on board and things like that, who had some industry experience. But we didn't know if other people wanted better for you chocolate milk. So we decided to do a Kickstarter campaign. Big fan of Kickstarter. I know, Alex, you've done a lot in all of the crowdfunding space, both equity and kind of traditional like Kickstarter world. I'm a huge fan of it as well. I think it's it's a great marketing tool in addition to obviously being able to either raise money or pre-sell your product. So we did about 50 grand on Kickstarter and have 1,200 backers. And we were on the homepage for a while. So it was a nice little marketing moment for us before we ever actually had a finished product. We had the initial formulations, and like we kind of thought we had a manufacturer was going to make it. But the great thing about Kickstarter is people don't really expect their stuff for 6 to 12 months versus 2 days like Amazon. So we took all of that to bring to a manufacturer. So we were in talks with the manufacturer. We knew we were going to be ready to go live at the end of the year, but we didn't have any like actual finished product from them. So when Shark Tank actually reached out to us, we were like, we have no actual live product. We have no sales. We have nothing. All we have is this Kickstarter video. And my co-founder is the front of the camera guy. He's hilarious. Like he's in charge of marketing. And so he did a phenomenal job, him and my college roommate, actually creating a Kickstarter video. He was the kind of main character of it, and he was hilarious. And so the casting team was like, you guys would be great if you came on the show. And we're like, you sure? And they're like, yeah, come on. We're like, all right, you know what? One opportunity to do this. Like everybody growing up, if they're an entrepreneur wants to go on the show, like let's do it. We had an investor that was pretty big with Chobani early on as a sales broker. And so we're like, all right, he has that background to help kind of make it seem like we're a little bit more legit on top of Kickstarter. So we got out there and we said, you know what? We have these 3 initial formulations with us. They had to be shipped overnight in these plastic bottles. We didn't have any finished cans, so we bought some sparkling water cans, went to a Staples in LA, printed out pieces of paper of like what our brand might look like, which is actually not too far away from what it looks like today. Cut out the pieces of paper and taped them on there. So if you actually watch me pull the can out of my pocket on the show, you'll see the like paper crinkle. And we did our pitch. And to this day, I will stand behind, even though Manny and I, there were very early iterations of the formulation, literally straight from our lab of our first 3 flavors, which was our classic chocolate, dark chocolate, and now mocha latte. I still stand by that they were great products. Unfortunately, I think there's a bunch of things that you can't control. One of the things that you can't control is the temperature of the product in the room. One of the issues was nobody gives the sharks palate cleansers, and you can't control who comes before you. So we have a very good friend who unfortunately was before us with a food product that had a lot of spices, and it definitely did not do us any favors. And I think the final piece is, of course, the product has come a long way from the beginning. It probably wasn't, it's nowhere near what it is today, but it was definitely not in the world of spitting out a bowl in terms of flavor. So when Manny and I went in, we're like, look, we have no sales, we have nothing, but like we can always fall back on the fact that we have a great product, that even the first iteration of the formulation is that we have a great product. So we get out there and do the pitch. We're pretty confident. And the first reaction is Cuban spitting it out and all of them saying how much they hate it. So our game plan went out the window pretty quick, and it was kind of defense mode from there on. But the good thing is that I will say that was not aired. Is of the 7 minutes they aired, there wasn't a lot of positive for us. Mm-hmm. But as off camera, as the time went on and as their palates got cleansed and things like that, towards the end, they started to enjoy the product. So that was a little bit of a nice, like, all right, we're not like totally off our rocker with doing this thing here.
Nice.
Wow. That's amazing.
Well, you persevered through that. I felt like, and you had Barbara on your episode, right? Was she like hitting on you guys, or was that my imagination? That's a whole.
No,
story,
that was Super Coffee guys. They're way better looking than me and Manny, but at least.
Good stuff. Okay, well, we're gonna pivot it over. Just it was a great story, so thanks for sharing that. Over to Hank here. So with your product, when you like presented it, did the sharks immediately understand it? Number one. And then number two, was there anything that did not make it to air that they said, since it's such a unique product, so different, they may have said a lot of things about it, and what did not make it to air? So those are my 2 questions for you.
Okay, so I think I can share this. Shark Tank has 400 people on set. What people don't realize is that like so many people go into making that possible. And we had a strategy of giving berries to everybody. So we wanted everyone to love the product so much, like that would hopefully increase our chances of airing, because about half the people I'm told that go into film never get aired. So it's really tough to like put in a whole year's worth of work, get your hopes up and then, not see your product on TV. So there were a few times where I lost the ability to speak because I'm such a big fan of the show that I got so nervous that all the saliva in my mouth like totally dried up. And I couldn't, like, I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but at least 3 times I had to reach for water. Like even during the pitch, I was like chugging. They cut that out. Yeah. There was a time, and also this is so crazy, Josh, that you mentioned like when you pulled the can out of your pocket, like what people like, it's hard to catch every little thing, but I make this ridiculous face as I'm explaining how the product works, because prior to that and what they cut out was me reaching for the jar that I was supposed to open and it's like glued down to the set, so I can't lift it up. So I try and like to work like as fast as I can on my feet. I grab another one, and the lid is not open, like it's still sealed, and I'm like, crap. So like all this time, like, your pitch is 90 seconds. You try it, like, probably are rehearsing that 1,000 times before you actually shoot it. And so everything is down to, but what you only get is about 2 minutes to see your set when you're actually, before you get to pitch. And so the only thing that I didn't practice is exactly like which jar to give to my co-founder in the pitch. So I have to reach across the set and grab like open air berries and give Giuliano some. And they cut all of that out. Luckily, they just, I think that they liked our hustle or the product or whatever, like the story enough, to where they spared world-class editors. I have to say that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was also going to add to what Josh said. My takeaway from your little bit right there, Josh, is to listen for when people tell you no, or that it can't be done, or that it's been tried and failed and it's a waste of time and money. Actually, that's what I was told too about preserving the product, the berry. So after 3 years of using it for my personal use, I was told so many times by all the people that I was giving the product to, just as a sample demo, just to test the market. They all said that this needs to be a thing, and to take it on Shark Tank. So I asked my farmer supplier, do you mind if I just practice like preserving the berry? And he told me like they had tried it for 3 decades. So anytime someone says that it's tried and been failed, like, take a swing at it. You could probably, I mean, it's not nothing's guaranteed, but if you can make it happen, then it's an awesome opportunity.
That's a great story. So we're 2 for 2. Daniel, no pressure. No pressure at all. I want to ask you motivation behind going on the show. Oftentimes it's truly money. People need money and they think that's a good avenue to do it. Sometimes it's marketing exposure, right? What was your motivation? Was it one of those two, both, something different? Why did you want to be on the show?
Look, it's always a combination of different things. I think, though, for us, our biggest challenge is that, although there's been 23 clinical trials showing you can prevent 80% of food allergies, most parents just don't know that you can do that, especially back then. It was very, very early in the days of building awareness. So for us, our number one issue was the combination of awareness and credibility around the fact that, medical guidelines recommend that you feed your baby these allergens, to prevent food allergies. So I thought that it would be great to have, certain aspects of having a shark on the team. It turned out, Mark has a daughter with a peanut allergy, so he, saw and understood what we were doing really personally, and has been a great partner for us. So I think there was a lot of ancillary benefits, but for us, it was really, thinking about how do we creatively help teach, 3 million parents a year about the fact that you can prevent babies from getting food allergies on the kind of budget a startup has, and also do it from a standpoint of credibility, because I think that's something that Shark Tank really has. And I'm not sure I would have expected this, as when I was just a viewer, but people really trust and believe that, they do a good job vetting, they ask good questions, and that means that, it's not guaranteed that a product will be good, but that, I think we got a lot of credibility in a time when it was very, very early on in terms of awareness for people knowing that this process even is something that doctors recommend.
Nice.
Got it. Yeah, and one thing I'll add here, and then I want to circle to a follow-up question for you, Daniel, is when you sign the contract, and this is, I think, pretty much public domain, so I can mention this. I've mentioned this several times, and I've got no legal notice. Hopefully, we won't. Cease and desist, Alex. So is that when you sign these contracts, basically, the main thing that's in there, and again, public knowledge, is that they can edit it however they want. Essentially, like you're releasing full rights for, if you're reacting to something that a shark says, they can cut that reaction and then paste it to a different scene of them saying something, right? So they can like move things around to make it as entertaining as possible, which is interesting. And then I'll say one thing, Hank, that happened on the Genius Juice episode where they passed out all the bottles, and for whatever reason, they passed Laura, or it was our
Lori.
original, right? Or Lori.
Uh-huh.
They passed all the bottles to all the sharks, and then Lori, hers was already opened and drunk from. Or it was like a staff member cracked it open to have some or something like that, which is flattering. That means people really want it on set. They're working hard. And she's like, someone already opened mine and drank from it. I need another one. And they had to like stop everything, right? And then a staff member came out and gave her a new bottle. And then, that interrupts the flow, because I was like talking about the product and getting into the pitch. And it was in the very beginning, the first like 3-4 minutes after we did our song and dance, literally song and dance. So that was interesting. And then Mark Cuban hated our turmeric coconut smoothie.
I know. He loves to do that. I think he wants to like throw you off your game and see if you're a good enough salesperson, if you can recover. I really think that's a strategy of his. I've seen that like repeat over and over.
Right.
So I don't think that it was just you. And to Josh's product, obviously, I think that that's what he was trying to do also. Like, obviously, it's a delicious freaking product. But he really wants salespeople. Like, he really wants people who are not going to give up and who are just absolutely determined. I think Daniel could probably attest to that too. And I think that as I'm talking though, like I'll shut up here in a second, but I think what Daniel did that was genius was, and pun intended, Alex, but he surrounded himself with people who are really brilliant. Like his co-founders are MD doctors. So like, he gets that credibility like right off the bat, besides being like super smart himself. Like, the idea of a founder is to, build a team that's smarter than you. So I think that was like when he came into the tank, they saw that and they were like, okay, this guy gets it too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And so he does throw people off their game. Absolutely. But I think he authentically just hated the turmeric one. I could see it on his face. I felt like it was visceral. It was from his gut. He's just like, I do not like this. It tastes like a turmeric soup.
We're Californians, Alex. We're Californians. It
golden.
wears off on us.
We call it the golden, right?
Exactly.
But he did like the original and he loved the mocha. So I got 2 for 3. So going back to Daniel, then I'm going to go to Josh. So Daniel, I'm looking at these Google images of your set, and it's an awesome set, a great presentation. But there's 3 of you, right? I wouldn't say but. There's 3 of you. How is that working that out and the pitch and coordinating with each other? And then when you 3 were standing behind the door, ready to go in, did you say anything to each other to prep and support each other? Just tell us the process from waiting to going on and then coordinating the pitch between 3 people, because that's not easy to do.
No, when we talked about what's the right number to have, and I think for us, we were really terrified a little bit of what you were talking about, Hank, that I think Mark likes to test entrepreneurs and see what they're made of, and especially things related to dietary supplements. I think he's expressed enormous skepticism would be one way to say that. And we happen to be a dietary supplement, so I think we spent most of our prep time with the 3 of us prepping for when he says all these whatever he's going to attack us with about the fact that we're a dietary supplement and there's never been a study on our product. How do we react to those? And that really also told me that we needed to find a way to include, doctors, that, my 2 co-founders were both physicians, and that having me defend a dietary supplement to Mark Cuban would not be as productive as having an allergist and a food allergy dad. Because that's the other thing. My brother-in-law, Andy, who's my co-founder, is not only a physician, he's also a dad with a kid with a food allergy, which ended up being a really great connecting point given Mark's experience with his daughter. But I think the fact that I'd known, my brother-in-law, Andy, for a long time, I think made it a little bit easier to kind of juggle, as well as there was really clear delineation of like what we each could bring to the table, where, Andy could really bring that personal story. Katie is an allergist, so she was really there for kind of the medical expertise, and I could talk about the business. So because it was so clear the different areas we could handle, I think it made the delineation a little bit easier. But still managing like who talks when among 3 people during an hour of Q&A was definitely challenging. And I can speak to one editing thing that I think was interesting. They did a really great job overall. I'm so impressed with the editing. The one thing that I think gave us a little bit of a nervous take was the morning before it aired, and we hadn't known how it would be edited. They posted on social media, and in retrospect, it must have been someone who was not, at the level of editing that did the final version, but that, come check out the food allergy testing company, Ready Set Food, which is definitely not at all what we do. And we were in cold sweats like all day, like, oh my gosh, do the editors know what we do? Is this going to, like, you can edit an hour down to 7 minutes and have it say almost anything at that point, right? So I think luckily the real editors did an amazing job, but whoever was posting social media that morning needs a little bit of food allergy prevention lesson.
Okay, I got to jump in here. I can't imagine what that was like for you. But when they posted my episode to social media, I swear, I told them so many times, this works with a pH change in the food. Like, it doesn't work on everything. If you have bread or if you have like carrots or neutral pH foods, you're not going to notice a difference. The first thing that the social media person does is say, the berry that turns everything sweet. And I'm like, oh my God, like, we're just setting people up for like these comments to anyway. So like, you can't even reach them to have them edit that or change it. So it's going to live on forever. I just have to do my very best to like try and respond to people, like,
Right.
Yeah.
That's fair. I just had a cut of me with my head tilted like 8 times in the episode, even though it was probably only captured once. So I take your cuts, I think. Oh yeah. I just, for some reason, just kept throwing it in there, like, oh, there's a blank spot, throw it in.
Yeah, there's like on Google Images, when you search for Nature's Wildberry, Hank, you have the funniest look on your face on some of the captures. Is that the one you were talking about?
It's a dry mouth. It's a dry mouth.
I'm dying because I can't open the jar.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. So I want to ask Josh something. Josh, obviously going into the show, you've watched. You were on season 11, right?
Yep.
Okay, so.
The lowest rated.
Let's just thanks again for that, Curtis. I'm going to use that. But obviously, you've seen the show, you've watched the show, you prepare for the show to the best of your abilities. Was there anything they threw at you during the show that you just caught you off guard, or you just absolutely weren't prepared for? Whether it was a question or something, was there anything that just was like like deer in headlights moment for you?
Besides Mark Cuban spitting it out.
I was just going to say, definitely them not liking the product at first was definitely a piece of it. That was number one. In terms of other deer in the headlights moments, I mean, what was interesting is there's a couple of times throughout the episode where, before we went out there, producers are like, hey, remember that the majority of those people are actors before they're investors. I've now probably been a part of over 1,000 investor conversations, as a founder does. And it is, as much as I love the show, that is not how investor conversations go, and especially early stage companies. Investors are investing in the human being first, way before they're even thinking about the business. And that show is purely like, what is your business model? So I think that's one of the hard, for me, deer in the headlights was just like, wow, like, they're all talking at you at the same time. So the editors do an incredible job of cutting that out, right? Because you can't hear anybody, but like, they are all asking questions. And if you're not paying attention to them, they get mad that you're paying attention to somebody else. So I think that's one of those things that you don't necessarily get prepared for. And I think they kind of do it rallies, to Hank's point earlier, to see how you react. So that was kind of interesting. And then the other interesting thing was 2 different times throughout the episode, we'd be talking about something like back and forth. And out of nowhere, one of them would ask a question that had nothing to do with anything we were talking about. And like, to the point of like, it almost made it seem like the producer told them to ask that question. But I remember, out of nowhere, it wasn't a question. I don't even know if it made it to air, but Lori was giving us feedback on our product. I think it was Lori. And I think it might've been Barbara, or maybe vice versa. It was just like, hey, Josh, by the way, like, why are you giving her it was like the devil eyes or something like that? Like, out of nowhere, like, we were just having a very like casual conversation. And I was just like, what?
It's TV. Yeah.
Right. And so it just like totally caught me off guard of like, somebody just clearly wanted to try to get some sort of, look at that. So to me, that was kind of the wake up of like, all right, this isn't really a true hour-long back and forth conversation. There is definitely made for TV moments throughout this thing.
Yeah, there's a lot to say there. And I think we should have a part 2 of this group, because it's a really great chemistry and dynamic. And there's so much more to go over. I will say I'm going to share one thing real quick. the funniest thing that I've ever seen as far as like a shark doing something for TV, right, just to throw someone off, is a person. It wasn't one of you guys, right? It was someone else. They were doing a pitch. It was kind of a weird product. And at the end of the pitch, Damon John raised his hand. You know, they're all like, we have questions. And Damon John's like, ooh, 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 ooh. Like, you know, like in a classroom, like, I have a question. Ooh, ooh. And the entrepreneur's like, okay, Damon. He's like, ooh, well, I'm out.
I remember
like,
that.
And he's like, how do you recover from that? It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, okay, we're going to just pause for a second because we're at the 50 mark. I'm going to quickly mention our sponsors. And then, Wade, I think we have time for one more question for our guests here. And you can lock and load that when going through the sponsors here. But first off, the weekly sponsor we have is W.N. Dean Advisory. And there's going to be a prize in about 7 or 8 minutes. So be ready. And it's going to be 2 prizes, actually. A free 30-minute strategy with Wally Nasruddin, plus a 12-pack variety pack of Slate drinks, generously donated by Josh here. And then the second prize will be another 12-pack of the Slate Milk, and plus 30 servings of Nature's Wild Berry that makes everything sweet. I'm just kidding. Which makes pH, especially acidic, right? pH acidic, lemons, those types of things, like, you know, it makes it sweet, right? Am I getting that right?
There's 120 brands in Sprouts that it works with. So anything that's tart, sour, fermented, pickled, anything that creates a pH change in your mouth.
Right. Especially, I can see the fermented stuff. If
Right.
you can put a list up on LinkedIn, that'd be pretty cool.
I got it. I've got it ready.
Nice.
Yeah, good stuff. And then we have our ongoing sponsors here. So thank you, WND Advisory, for sponsoring this episode. And then we have our ongoing sponsors, which is My Way 3PL and also Range Me. So My Way 3PL is a logistics solutions from seeing all the pain points CPG brands go through with other logistics providers, solid foundation of proven results in cost savings and operational enhancement. They offer a true balance of both strategy and execution. Partner with My Way 3PL to streamline your logistics and scale from small to large, or from large to even larger. Go to myway3pl.com/CPG vibes. You get your first pallet for free in the first month. And we have Range Me right there on the screen. You can also scan the QR code on the bottom right corner if you're watching the show. And if you fill out the form, I'm sure, you know, the guys even on this show right here, they're probably doing it right now on the side on their alternate monitor. If you go to rangeme.com/CPG vibes, you fill out the form that you're interested, you get entered into a drawing to win a free premium membership for 1 year worth $13.99. That's $1,399. By also filling out the form, even if you don't win, you still get 30% off by filling out that form. So make sure to go there. Rangeme.com/CPG vibes.
Yep. So that's
Wade, back to you.
I was going to say fantastic giveaway from Range Me and My Way 3PL, guys. If you're in the D2C business, it takes little, if any, effort just to contact these guys and just have a conversation with them. Great people, just like Waleed, just like pretty much everybody in our audience right now, but great people to talk to, and they can save you money. So I'd encourage you to reach out to My Way 3PL just to have a conversation. It costs nothing. So that being said, let's talk. One question. We're gonna do roundtable. I'm gonna start clockwise. On my right, upper right is Daniel. And I'll ask everybody the same question. We'll try and get through everybody before we go to the giveaway. Number one, did you get a deal? And number two, the after impact with regards to the Shark Tank effect on your business. And number three, would you do it again? Daniel, go.
We did get a deal. We were lucky enough to, I think, have a deal with Mark, because I think it worked out well because his daughter has a peanut allergy. So I think he cared and was really engaged more than we had 2 other offers that I may or may not have been interested. But I think Mark was really into food allergy prevention. I think for us, the impact is different than many others. We didn't have as big of a bump right away. Maybe that's because of the ratings for that season. I don't know. But I think it's more likely that, we're only serving a small percentage of the population that watches Shark Tank, that has like a baby between the ages of like 3 and 8 months, really is our target market. So the night itself was not a huge boost, but the ability to then reference that, to use footage of Mark talking about his daughter and how he wished his daughter would have had an opportunity to do something like that when she was young. I think the after effects have been incredibly meaningful and really been a huge benefit to the business, but in probably a very different way than most, given less of an impact from the actual showing itself and more from the kind of ability to use some of that footage on our site, in ads and things like that to really help make sure that people know that this is something that is trustworthy and for real. So I guess getting to your final question, we would definitely 100% do it again. I think that some people don't understand how there's a low chance of not only getting on, but then of airing and of all these different points. So I think knowing that we made it all the way through that bottleneck, I think 100% I would do it again in a second. I think the odds of making it through that, I think, are lower than I may have expected heading into it. But that it's just been a huge benefit to the business.
Love that.
Right.
Love that. How about you, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, somewhat similar in the sense of, I don't again, ratings of the season. We aired on a Wednesday night, so it was probably the worst time to potentially air.
Everyone's out at Wine Wednesdays, they're out. Yeah.
Right. So similar, where for us, it's just been it was another one of those stamp of validity where we were in the market for about 6 months when it actually finally aired. And so it's funny because a lot of people called us being like, why didn't you tell them about how you're selling at Whole Foods and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, didn't air it last night. You're not calling me in LA. But I think it was good it was a great point of validation. Retailers love to see it because they want to know that people aren't going to walk into the store and be like, what is this? And so, it's funny. I think we re-air every other month. I think people just love now watching the brands that tank, no pun intended.
Tank on Shark Tank.
Literally. So it's great though, because we still just have the awareness out there constantly. So I would 100% do it again. No questions asked. As we say, it was great for the brand, but tough on the ego. I don't think it hurt anyone more than our mothers, but at their, without doing more damage to them, I think that we would do it again 100% for the business.
It's funny, before we go to Hank, Josh, I say almost on a daily basis, whether I'm talking to being, but no one likes being told their kid's ugly. Yeah. So was that a reality for your mother watching that?
Oh, yeah.
And she had
not only were we ugly, but what we were doing was ugly. It was a double whammy.
Oh my gosh, that's fabulous.
Barbara did hit on you, so you can't be that ugly.
I don't know about that, but okay, yeah.
That's fabulous. All right, Hank.
Barbara definitely hit on Giuliano. It was not even it was very obvious. It was hilarious at them. That didn't air. There was a bunch of cool things that didn't air, but
that didn't air. Barbara's like, please don't air that. It's embarrassing.
Right. I'm telling you. In fact, she said she loved the product and she loved us as founders, and then she was the only one that didn't give us an offer. So we did get 4 offers. So to the question, would I do it again? Absolutely. We saw an immediate impact since our strategy has been to be D2C e-commerce only for the most part. So we were as ready as possible. When people are asking questions about getting ready for Shark Tank, I charge free $99. So I will sit down with you and talk to you about what I would do differently, what I think that really worked for us. But there's no way to be ready for that initial hit. There's just, you could spend months and months and months stocking up. And if you're a D2C e-commerce brand, you will sell out in the first 5 minutes, which is what we did. We were on a 30-day wait after the first 5 minutes of the East Coast airing. So it was hugely impactful for us. Most people do not think of a berry as being the way to sweeten foods like that. The last thing that they think of is a flavor changing berry. And so raising awareness has been, 300 million views across social media, thanks to all the super impactful influencers that have taken our seeding campaign, not taken a penny, but created videos about us, kind of raised awareness for Shark Tank. I think being here on LinkedIn was a huge critical factor in being first connections with everybody on casting to make sure that they got our application. Unlike Josh, I didn't get an invite. I had to go out there and make sure that I got their attention. Because in years past, 18 and 19, we didn't even get like a hi, hello, we got your application. It was just radio silence. So there's a bunch of things that I could say, just like Alex probably knows, and like everybody here knows, like what they would do differently and then what really worked for them. But with 1000% do it again, I got a deal. We closed our deal with Mark and Lori. We probably did that faster than any other Shark Tank brand in due diligence. We paid them, we did a royalty deal, so it wasn't about the investment, it was about the validation for sure with us. And so we got to pay them back within 2 months of airing. And so they've been tremendously helpful. The number one question I'm constantly asked is like, what are they doing for your business? So their growth teams meet with us generally on a weekly basis. So because we're 8 years in, people think that that's a long time, but in CPG world, where brands are, out there for over 100 years, 8 years is nothing. And I feel that every day, the things that I get to learn make me feel like we're at day one. And so we've got very large plans for us. I've dedicated 20 years of my life. So I think maybe at year 20, we'll hire a CEO and I can do something else. But yeah, absolutely. This is a key component, changed our entire business, and definitely let people talk about us a little bit more seriously.
Nice.
Definitely. I gotta definitely, it's so well said, Hank, and everyone as well. Just the stories and everything you've shared, the insights, your experience. And one thing, an insight I'll share is that there's typically 3 types of results for Shark Tank. I kind of classified in 3 buckets. One is that the presentation is terrible. Something really wrong happens and no one buys it, or very few people buy it. No one is in that bucket on this episode, as a guest in this episode. The second one is you generate awareness. It's more niche. And even if you don't see immediate growth, right? And I think Ready Set Food as well, you don't see immediate, like this big overnight, like thousands of dollars in orders. Over time, it benefits you by increasing awareness, getting customers turned on to it and top of mind. Plus, it gets you opportunities for more D2C and also for retailers, right? That just reach out to you. And then it might not close right away, but in 6 months to a year, when the reset happens, you're in their stores. And then the third bucket is overnight success, and you do tons in sales. And we had Michael Pan from Pan's Mushroom Jerky, where he did over $1 million in sales from the Shark Tank airing, because it was just groundbreaking. The way the episode happened, the way they argued over each other, the way that he cried at the end.
That's what we did. We did over $1 million in sales because we got the 4. So if you get more offers, that's when that translates to sales. Yeah,
that's insane. I didn't know they did over $1 million. So you're in that very.
That's amazing.
Congrats. I mean, you're in that very exclusive club of doing that much in sales. With Genius Juice, we did about 400,000 in sales over about a month or 2, only because we ran out of product and we had to get more shipped to our 3PL. That's another subject, which is preparing for supply chain. But we were at $8 a bottle, on our website, because it's refrigerated and it's so expensive. I think if we were at like $3 a bottle, we would have done maybe closer to $1 million, right? For some of the states and people that can't afford $8 a bottle. So with all that said, thank you guys for being on this episode. We're going to get into our sponsorship now and the question. And I feel, Wade, I don't know about you, because we never formally discuss these things. We make decisions on the fly because we don't know what the hell we're doing. I think we got to have a part 2 of this, because this is a great group.
I like it.
So we're going to bring you guys back for another Outside the Tank, right? And what tanked on Outside the Tank? I like that, the phrase. But no one tanked here. All you guys are doing great in the markets and doing sales. So
we're assuming they want to come back for a second episode, right?
I want to know more about Josh, because Josh is crushing it right now. Like I can't wait to learn more about Josh and what he's doing at Slate. Yeah.
Where are they now?
Shout out to Manny if he's watching.
There you go. Yeah. So what's the question, Alex?
I mean, I wrote down a bunch of stuff here going upside down and all around.
Cow.
And, see, there's stuff like going this way, that way, and some dyslexia happening here. Mine's okay. So do you have one, or should I go?
Go. Well, we're just going to ask one question. The first 2 correct answers, we're going to go, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right.
So
right.
Right. Yeah, it's streamlined. Where did This one's such a niche question. Where did Josh print his labels before the episode? Because he had to rush and get them printed. Where did he go to get them printed? What company?
I know this one.
Nice.
First two answers wins the 2 prizes.
The first person to respond gets our sponsor this week of the special sponsors, Waleed, and the 12-pack of mixed Slate, right? Staples, Hugh says. Oh, we got Hugh, and this is like photo finish here. I'm going to the tail of the tape is
Kinko's. I love it.
Yeah.
Kinko's.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
the old school. Yeah.
All right, so let's see.
FedEx. It's FedEx now.
I'm going to the photo finish here.
I'm seeing Hugh first and Gavin second, but what do you see on your side?
That's exactly right. Hugh first and Gavin second. So Hugh,
How perfect is that?
Gavin, reach out to CPG Vibes 100.
What up, Hugh? What up, Gavin?
Gmail.com. So, yep, that's
and
it.
What we can do too is Gavin, who won the second prize, I'm going to check with Daniel, right, and put him on the spot. Is since he's having 2 twins in December, he can also get the prize too for his kids. So there you go.
Absolutely.
So he's going to add. So Daniel's going to add that on from Ready Set Food to the second prize. Very generous of you, Daniel. So thank you for that. Okay, I can bow out. I won last week, says Joseph. Thank you for being generous and not greedy. Thank you for that. All right, so the episode for next week, by the way, it's kind of boring, but kind of not. It's just me and Wade, just the two of us, and we got the Bald and Balder, right? That's us, and and so it's episode 140, sponsored by Trevor Smith with Rebel Eats. So make sure to tune in for that, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock Eastern. Make sure to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Make sure to also check us out on YouTube. Wade is already probably uploading it as we speak with his multitasking.
I can't until we end broadcast, and then I have to go. Yes, it'll be on YouTube.
You can download it. While it's downloading, you have your dinner. After dinner, you upload it. It's become a custom for you. So, so thank you. Just back to our guests here with spending your valuable time on the show. Hank, Josh, Daniel, thanks for the stories, for the laughs, and most importantly, for just being so successful in your business, right? And all the ups and downs. So appreciate you guys for taking the time, and have a wonderful weekend.
Appreciate you guys.
You as well. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next Friday, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock Eastern.